Giving you facts, not fear, on 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear, on 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. the things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear, on 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear, on 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Right now at noon, new details involving the memorial services and funeral for George Floyd. And today, marking day 6 of protests across the metro, we're live in Covington as people peacefully march for justice. And the latest on Georgia's fight against COVID-19. We're breaking down the state's case numbers and why the census is asking about it.
11Alive News at noon starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sheba Russell. Right now in Covington, demonstrators are gathering for a peaceful protest demanding justice in the death of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and countless others. This is happening right now in the town square. Mara Siriani has been there for us for a while now. Mara, how are things looking where you are?
Well, this is an incredibly peaceful protest. At first, they were kind of standing on the square here, and now we are seeing the crowd. I would say it's up to roughly about 350 to 400 people now. It's really grown over the past hour. They are chanting, "Hands up, don't shoot." They're also chanting, "I can't breathe." This is something we've really seen in cities across Georgia and, again, across the country. So they joined in prayer this morning, as I mentioned, and asked God for peace and unity. Out here, I saw families and people from all walks of life, from Covington and even some nearby communities. Organizer Timothy Burt said the idea came to him Sunday night when he was so upset he just couldn't sleep. Then Monday morning, he wrote to Covington Police Chief out here, and they made this happen.
I love it. I seen the Covington Police Department put it on their Facebook page, and that's where it really just got out to the people. And I love the turnout, and I just love that everyone's peaceful, everyone's respectful, and everyone's listening.
That's what our job is, to protect people, to let them exercise their freedom of speech, and I'm proud when we're able to do that in the right way. That's what this country's all about.
This is every day. He's black every day. So this is going to have to, this has to be every day, how people feel and act every day.
Now, that woman you just heard from, Tia Ziegler, she is, again, a mother. You saw she came out with her 3 young children. She says this, of course, is a difficult topic to kind of teach them about. They're only 10, 11, and about 1.5 years old, those children you saw. But she says hopefully by letting them see this in person, it will show them that there are people out here who care about them. But again, behind me, you see this crowd is loud, but again, they are peaceful.
Mara, we keep hearing the names George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor. Are there any names that the community of Covington wants people to know about today?
Well, I need to talk to the police chief still. I spoke with him before. Of course, we know they have certainly had certain instances out here involving police brutality. He said that he's been talking to his officers in light of all of this and kind of going over procedures and having that conversation with his officers and really making sure they know how to handle things in dicey situations and how to handle things as far as that we saw with George Floyd. And so we're going to be out here. I'm going to be covering this. But again, things at this point are very peaceful.
How long do you think the march and the rally will go on there today?
Well, things are expected to go until 3 o'clock. They've been taking breaks periodically, drinking water. It's very hot out here at this point. But as I mentioned, I've seen people joining really over the past hour. So it could go later if people want to, again, keep joining this movement.
All right, Mara Siriani, thank you for that live report from Covington. We've been seeing these protests mostly in downtown Atlanta, but we have been seeing them in other parts of the metro, including Covington and Marietta and others. All right, so perhaps the most peaceful night we've seen since the protest started 6 days ago came last night. Earlier in the day, protesters marched along the Beltline and through the streets of Atlanta, demanding an end to police brutality and systemic racism. A huge crowd once again gathering at Centennial Olympic Park. Very quiet. One woman shared why she feels it's important to protest.
And I came down here to show support for my people because I believe in something better than this. This isn't what's supposed to be, and this isn't what's supposed to happen. They shouldn't be pointing guns at their own citizens. We are United States citizens. We are in the United States. This is United States military. They shouldn't be pointing their guns at us. We are their citizens. We are them.
The protest continued into the evening, but once that curfew kicked in at 9 p.m., tear gas was fired to disperse the crowds.
Okay, shh.
Our own Hope Ford caught in the crossfire. You can see her and her photographer, Tyson Paul, rushing to get out of the way. They're both okay. Atlanta police tell us they made 52 arrests yesterday. Since Friday, nearly 500 people have been arrested. Protesting during a pandemic creates some extra challenges, and the state is urging protesters to get tested for COVID-19 immediately. Health officials are worried they could become super spreaders, so they're now working to get testing sites set up for protesters and first responders in Fulton County by next week, so look for that. Protests are expected in Brunswick today and tomorrow ahead of a hearing for the 3 men charged with murdering Ahmaud Arbery. Gregory and Travis McMichael and William Roddy Bryan will appear by video from jail. The hearing will determine if there's enough evidence to move forward with the case. We're told Arbery's family is expected to be at the Glenn County Courthouse. Arbery was shot and killed during a confrontation in a Brunswick neighborhood with both of the McMichaels back in February. No one was arrested until last month when video of the shooting surfaced online. Governor Kemp says his office is preparing for protesters and disruptors will not be tolerated. In Washington, President Trump now defending law enforcement's use of force on demonstrators, clearing the way for him to walk to a church damaged by fire during the protests. The president says people like the gesture, him standing there in front of the church holding up a Bible. But some prominent religious leaders, even members of the Republican Party, have been critical about it. Chris Pallone has the story.
In Washington, people lingered outside the White House past a mandatory curfew for the second straight night. Some in the crowd threw bottles at police before dispersing after a day of nonviolent protest. The crowd's much larger than the night before, some motivated to show up after watching this scene Monday night, when government police used force and chemical irritants to clear the way for President Trump to walk to a historic church and pose for pictures holding a Bible.
Is that your Bible?
It's a Bible. That walk and Tuesday's visit to a Catholic shrine are drawing criticism from some religious leaders in Washington.
It was an abuse of the spiritual tools and symbols.
On Twitter, the president accused Monday's protesters of being the same ones who set a small fire at St. John's Church the night before, tagging Senate Republicans who criticized the photo op, though many of the president's allies are steering clear of the subject.
Was clearing the protesters an abuse of power?
A country is crying out for leadership. Leadership that can unite us, leadership that brings us together, leadership that can recognize pain and deep grief of communities that have had a knee on their neck for a long time.
Meanwhile, the president's presumed opponent for November, Joe Biden, is trying to position himself as the leader who can unite the country.
And more details involving the 2 memorial services and funeral for George Floyd. They're out now. Floyd's family and attorney Ben Crump say the first memorial service will be held in Minneapolis tomorrow. The Reverend Al Sharpton expected to deliver the national eulogy. And the second one will be in North Carolina on Saturday. His funeral will be on June 9th. That's next Tuesday in Houston, Texas. Presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden is expected to attend. The mother of one of Floyd's children, Roxy Washington, speaking yesterday for the first time since his death.
He would never see her grow up, graduate. He would never walk her down the aisle. If it's a problem she's having and she needs her dad, she does not have that anymore.
A GoFundMe account has been set up for Floyd's 6-year-old daughter, nearly reaching its $500,000 goal. The state of Minnesota launching a sweeping civil rights investigation of the Minneapolis Police Department. For the first time in its history, the probe will be designed to root out what the governor calls systemic racism that is generations deep. The investigation will review the police department's policies and procedures over the last 10 years to determine whether the department practiced systemic discriminatory practices toward people of color. Protesting for their children's future, parents fighting for change with frustration that change hasn't come. Here's Blaine Alexander.
For so many black families, it's an endless cycle.
Nothing has changed. What are we supposed to do? Nothing has changed. We have to stand united. Don't you all give up.
We shouldn't be fighting the same war that our grandmothers had to fight, our great-grandmothers had to fight.
Generations of frustration and fear that became real for Samaria Rice.
We've got late developments tonight in a case a lot of people have been closely watching, the police shooting death of Tamir Rice in Cleveland.
Samaria's son, Tamir, was 12 years old when he was shot and killed by a police officer who said he thought the child had a gun. It was a toy pellet gun.
I don't know what this beautiful face would have developed up as a young man because America robbed me of that.
She has been fighting to spare other families the same pain she's lived with every day for 5.5 years.
Do you hope that this moment finally brings about change?
I do hope. I do. I hope that this is the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Because now she's still afraid for her other children in their 20s and for her community.
I hope that not one other black person get murdered in this country on behalf of law enforcement.
For so many black parents, it's a cruel reality.
As mothers, how do you feel in this moment?
It's devastating. It's devastating. You're scared to even say, you know what? Okay, you can drive. You can get out there and you can drive to the store and not knowing whether your child will come back.
I call my son to make sure he's home at night. I call him every time I look at the news. I said, where are you? I call my nephew. You can't sleep at night until you know that they're home in the house. Because you never know.
They fill these streets so their children don't have to live in fear when they become parents.
It's him and his sister's world that are going to have the ultimate chance to truly, truly be what we intended to be.
So they stand together, people with different experiences, but a shared feeling. It's just so unfair.
I think that this is a time that this generation just really is saying, no, I'm tired of it.
And hoping because of that, the next generation will not inherit the same reality. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Atlanta.
It is your First Amendment right to demonstrate peacefully, but it's not as simple as just showing up with a sign. We're going to break down your protesting rights with a criminal defense attorney.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is...
Turning back to our continuing coverage of the protest in Atlanta. For 5 days now, hundreds have packed the streets outraged over the death of George Floyd while in police custody in Minneapolis, and many others calling for an end to systemic racism and police brutality. Since Friday, nearly 500 people have been arrested for everything from damaging property to being out after curfew. And we know many of you want to know your rights while protesting. So we brought in a criminal defense attorney, one of our legal experts, to get some answers. Joining me live right now, attorney Lawrence Zimmerman. Good afternoon to you, Lawrence.
Hey, Shiva, how are you?
I'm doing well. Nice to hear you. I know we had some audio issues during our morning show, but it is nice to hear you and to finally get some answers here. So let me begin by saying that we are bringing you into this discussion because you've assembled a group of more than 200 lawyers to represent protesters for free, pro bono. And your tweet, which was just put out about 5 days ago, offering your services, that went viral, right?
I don't have many Twitter followers. I just saw a black CNN reporter arrested for doing nothing, just exercising his right as a journalist to cover protests of people who are absolutely upset and angry about the death of George Floyd at the hands of a police officer. I didn't even hashtag it, and it went viral, and it was shocking that it went viral, and I started getting tons of phone calls and emails of people who wanted to help. And I am not a black man in America, and I just want to lend my voice to support my friends and my colleagues and whoever I can. And if that's by representing protesters for free, that's what I want to do.
So how many protesters are you representing and the other attorneys that you've assembled? How many in total do you think that you all are representing here?
I mean, right now, personally, I've been helping 5 personally at this point. I mean, we're getting a lot of phone calls. So I'm trying to just put together a network, a base of people. So as it starts coming in fast and furious, we could farm those out and get people to help and get them all the lawyers. I mean, I can't handle 100 people myself, or more than really 5.
Yeah.
But I've been organizing all week and just trying to help out with a lot of collaboration, a lot of different organizations, and talking to business leaders.
We mentioned disorderly conduct and staying out past curfew. What other charges are the protesters looking at here that you're dealing with?
I mean, seen some misdemeanor obstruction charges for just not complying with commands quickly enough. I mean, it's a very intense situation. I have seen some felony obstruction charges, people accused of pushing a police officer who they thought was unjustly arresting somebody, or a gentleman apparently got hit with a gas canister yesterday and threw it back from where it came from towards the police because that was his reaction. He just got hit with a gas canister right before 10 minutes before the curfew, and so that was their reaction. So I mean, just different kinds of things. You know, when you think of protesting, people get arrested for civil disobedience, just standing and not moving away when police tell you to move away peacefully.
So what are their rights? We're talking about this when folks are out there peacefully protesting, and especially when the sun begins to set and it's night out there and things get pretty intense. What are their rights?
Well, everyone has a right to peacefully assemble and freedom of expression. So you have a right to be out there and say what you want. You're in public spaces. Obviously, if police officers are giving you a lawful command, you should listen. You know, if you don't want to get arrested, right? You have a right to video record things.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask you. Can they record video? Okay.
As long as you're doing it in the right place and it's not interfering with the police officer's investigation or what they're doing. For example, if a police officer is arresting somebody and they are handcuffing someone, you're not going to want to run up with a camera and shove it in the police officer's face. That's going to create a problem for you as well. And you may get arrested for some kind of obstruction also, or interference with some investigation. And, you know, for lawyers also, there's also a very gray area, and it's very ambiguous as far as what is a crime when it comes to protesting. What is First Amendment, what's not? Clearly, if someone's throwing a brick through a window, that's not protected speech, right? That may be anger. There may be reason for anger. But if you're asking me if that's protest and lawfully protected, that's not.
All right. Listen, Lawrence Zimmerman, we could speak about this literally for probably another half hour, but we have run out of time. I do appreciate your input on this, and you're still offering free legal services?
Yeah, like I said, we put together a lot of people. It's ATL justice lawyers, and we got a lot of people helping out, and you know, I was just trying to do my part, and I never thought it'd turn into this. So I just I already committed to it, so I'm going to commit to keep helping.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and we wish you the best of luck. We'll be back, everybody.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick.
Definitely feeling a lot like summer outside. If you have managed to not step outside yet and you are hearing your air conditioner running, it is for a very good reason. It's warming up quickly. We're a few degrees warmer outside right now than yesterday. Look at these temperatures. It's 83 degrees for noon in Atlanta, and we're actually surrounded by temperatures that are warmer. 85 in Duluth, 85 in Peachtree City. Marietta is at 82 degrees. When you add in the moisture, the dew point now is 67 degrees. It feels like a couple degrees warmer in some of these spots. It feels like it's 85 in Atlanta. It feels like it's 87 in Eatonton. So we're adding just a couple degrees on to the actual temperature. We are now starting to see these little pop-up showers of up 75. You can see up in Rome, just off to the northeast of Rome, a few showers there. That will be the continuing trend for the rest of the day. Just a 20% chance of rain overall, but generally after 3 o'clock, is going to be the best chance of rain for Metro Atlanta. We'll then double the rain chances as we go into Thursday through Saturday at a 40% chance of rain. Generally daily showers and thunderstorms, particularly in the afternoon. However, these could actually develop in the afternoon and then linger on into the overnight hours. So just keep that in mind. You'll need the umbrella most likely into the afternoon. Friday, same thing. Widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. In fact, here are the rain chances. 40% chance of rain Thursday through Saturday, down to a 20% chance of rain as a cold front comes through. Then we're right back up to a 30 to 40% chance of rain for the beginning of part of next week. 88 for a forecasted high, feeling more like 90 out there. In fact, 90 for a forecasted high in Eatonton. Athens, you're going to be at 89 degrees. Your 7-day forecast, I know you see a lot of strokes of lightning and a lot of raindrops on it. It's not going to rain for everybody every single day. If you notice, these rain chances are less than 50% every single day, which means there's a better chance that it won't rain on you than what it will. That being said, there will be some storms around on the radar. So just keep the umbrella and the raincoat handy. It's going to be warm and it's going to be muggy, feeling very summer-like for at least the next 7 days.
We got it, Wes. Thank you. Still ahead here, it seems every day leads to new questions about COVID-19. Our Why Guy explains why the Census Bureau is asking questions about coronavirus.
Objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you.
This is new at noon. A mural honoring Georgia's rock and roll icon, Little Richard, is almost ready to be unveiled. Society Garden in Macon taking an artistic approach to honoring the late singing legend. The co-owner tells us an outdoor mural had already been in the works before his passing, but the COVID-19 pandemic put the project on hold. A check now on the latest number of coronavirus cases in Georgia. And according to the State Department of Public Health, there are now more than 48,000 confirmed cases. That's a little over 300 more than this time yesterday. So far, just over 2,100 people have died in Georgia. You may be one of the people responding to this year's census, only to have the Census Bureau contact you again. The new round of questions concerning the coronavirus. So why does the Census Bureau need to know how you've been impacted? Our Why Guy explains.
It seems every day fills us with new questions about the coronavirus and its impact on our lives. Now the U.S. Census Bureau wants us to provide some answers. Over a 3-month period, the Census Bureau will reach out to homes and small businesses to ask how the pandemic has impacted our lives. Here's why they want the information. It's not part of the census. These are surveys developed to measure the impact and response to the coronavirus.
There's opportunities for changes in policies to try to help people be more secure.
Nearly 1 million small businesses will be asked if their operations were disrupted, if they struggled to get supplies, and whether they received grants or loans. Among the questions directed at households, was anyone fired or laid off? There are questions about the breadwinner's ability to feed the family and insurance coverage. As data is collected weekly, it will be shared almost immediately.
All of this data can be used to help steer a response. What is working? What is not working?
Georgia State University Senior Research Associate Peter Bluestone points out that the Census Bureau will be constantly updating their data to measure if struggles continue or improve.
People are unable to access the internet. Right now, that was a problem before, but it's a real problem now. How do we strengthen our infrastructure, particularly along those lines?
The Census Bureau is randomly selecting homes to participate in the survey. If you're picked, you'll get an email. The Bureau says it will not release any names when it publishes the data.
And if you have a question for Jerry Carnes, our Why Guy, send it to us on Facebook, Twitter, or email. Thank you so much for watching 11Alive News at noon. I'm Sheba Russell. Please stay safe out there.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear, on 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more